Accountability may sound boring, but it's actually a key to success among the best leaders in the world. Here's how it works. Keep watching to find out how great leaders approach holding themselves and their team accountable. And at the end, you'll learn the pro tip behind inviting your team to take ownership on their own with less hand-holding on your part. First, as a leader, especially in the area of accountability, it's important to acknowledge your mistakes and fix them quickly. Showing that you're accountable to yourself and to your team makes it easier for others on your team to be accountable as well. This also builds trust with internal and external customers and relationships. And while it might be uncomfortable and definitely makes you really vulnerable to share your mistakes, I can tell you from experience that my clients, my team members who are, like my own customers in my own company as well, they probably love hearing my mistake stories the best, right? Like when I really messed up and I share those stories, it just gives them an opportunity to see that there's many mistakes to be made. We're all going to make them. And it's really not about making them, it's what you do after. Also, I truly believe that if you make a mistake with a client or a customer, they can become a customer for life simply because of the way that you fix it. When anyone in my company or when I make a mistake with a client or customer, it's like, we're going to fix this now. And we're going to go above and beyond the fix. So it's not just the fix. It's like, what else can we do to make this right for this person? Because that shows them how much we care. And when you care, people know that. They feel safe. They stay in your community and they want to stay connected to you. So acknowledge your mistakes, fix them quickly, whether it's a team member or a client. Accountability also leads to success when you share accountability stories directly with your team. And this might be more specific to what's going on in the company. So you have, your clients and your customers, like there's that vulnerability piece, but then it's sharing specific stories internally. And again, it's not to point out like, oh, here are all the mistakes that I made. But if someone on the team knows that I made a mistake with a client too, it takes the pressure off them, or it takes the shame away for them if they've made a mistake with a customer. I can think of a time when someone on my team made a mistake and it cost the company some money. And then I could have reacted in a way that was just like, but instead I was like, you know what? I've done that before. I've made mistakes that have cost the company money. It's going to happen. It's going to happen for all of us. And the more we talk about it and we don't talk about focusing on the mistake, we just talk about what we can do differently next time, it'll probably cost us less next time. And my experience, that's what I found, is that when we take the mistakes and we fix them, whether it's in our contracts or whether it's in our systems or our processes, it makes the company better and it actually saves us money in the future. So think about mistakes as a way to just fine tune whatever's going on. Now, if it's something that's repeatedly happening though with a team member, that's very different. And that might take a different level of accountability or support for that person, or they may decide it's not a good fit and that's okay as well, or you may decide it's not a good fit. But it's also, discerning the difference between, is this a mistake or is this kind of a habit that's happening? So looking at the difference between the two. So accountability leads to success when you recognize that it's just not about making mistakes, right? It's just not like, okay, I made this mistake. It is like what I was saying before. What is the next step beyond that? What's the next step beyond that? What can we learn from this mistake? How can this mistake make our company stronger? And again, going in and looking at what specific thing needs to be changed. In my experience, when things happen and we look at a system or a process, there's usually something that's a little broken or something that needs to be an SOP, a standard operating process. Often when I see something happen twice, my question for the team is there an SOP for this, or what do we need to do to make sure this doesn't happen again? Just asking that open-ended question, not from a place of like blame, but from a place of like, how do we solve this, is really empowering for everybody. Being accountable truly leads to more and more success for your company and for yourself, because the more accountability you take, the deeper the trust people have in you. And, I see this not just in my company or in the companies that I work with. I see this around me all the time. And I can give you an example, something that was going on for my son. And there was, at that point, it was a teacher that was involved. And I was so impressed with the amount of accountability that the leadership in the school took to solve something. It wasn't just an acknowledgement. It was like, here's the acknowledgement of, oh my gosh, yeah, look what's going on. And here's how we're going to handle this. Here's how we're going to track this with data. And here's how we're going to make the situation better. And I thought, that's what it's about, right? It wasn't just one step of like, oh, there was a mistake made. No, there was a mistake with accountability. And then there was a process that was put in place. There was data that we were going to look at. And it was kind of like, here's the 90-day plan to shift this. And of course, that built a much deeper trust in us with this person as well, and with this group of people that were, really truly trying to help our son. They didn't realize what was going on, so this was how they were going to fix it. And then the other side of that, well, it was uncomfortable in the process. On the other side of that was a much deeper relationship and this feeling of assurity that things were being taken care of. By having accountability in your company, you'll also notice that unproductive behavior and bottlenecks start to go away. The true sign of lack of accountability or a lack of an SOP or standard operating process is a bottleneck. When I see this happening in my own company, it's like we keep getting stuck at the same point, or something gets stopped with this one person, like there's some kind of bottleneck. It's time to ask a question. Like, how does everybody see this, right? Like, it keeps getting stopped. How can we open up this bottleneck, or what needs to shift or change so this doesn't happen again? And the simplest thing as a leader you can do is be curious and ask questions. When you're curious and you ask open-ended questions, you can gain a lot of information, but it doesn't feel like you're shaming someone or you're trying to make them wrong. You're just asking questions from a place of curiosity. And that can come from a place of true concern and wanting the situation to be better. Finally, accountability leads to success because when you're holding yourself accountable, when you're holding your team accountable, you have improved performance. Improved performance leads to improved commitment. Having these hard conversations with your team over time strengthens the company, strengthens their trust in you that it's a safe place to work things out, and also over time, if it's the right fit for them, which it probably still is, leads to improved commitment and them wanting to be there because they feel safe. So I'm glad you're still with me because I have a pro tip, and I want to tie all of this together for you. The key here with accountability is to make it a safe word in your company so that other people feel comfortable, again, sharing their challenges and mistakes. You want it, in essence, to become part of your culture. When it becomes part of your culture, you'll know it because people will be coming to you saying, hey, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. Here's what happened. They'll feel comfortable just saying that out loud. And when that happens, I want you to celebrate it because that means you've created a culture of accountability, a culture of safety, so that the company can continue to grow and flourish. The opposite of that is a culture where people feel like they can't share their mistakes. They feel like they have to be perfect all the time. They feel like their job is on the line if they make a mistake. And when that happens, people feel pushed into a corner and all of a sudden things get pushed under the rug, or they're hiding things, or they don't feel comfortable really saying out loud what they're feeling or what they're seeing. And you want people to feel comfortable enough to come to you and say, hey, here's what's going on, or here's the mistake I made. How can we fix it? Or even if they come to you and say, here's the mistake I made, you can say to them, okay, great. So how can we fix this? Putting it back on them, giving them the opportunity to see how they can fix the mistake first, allows them to grow in their role so that as future mistakes come up, as future things happen, they can probably handle it without even coming to you. If you want to learn more about leadership, I have tons of videos on this channel, so definitely hit the subscribe button. Up next, we're going to talk about how to stay focused on your mission and your vision. And remember, your 2X is waiting for you too.